From Pocono International Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, this is the 10th annual Light Cola 500. This afternoon, you will see racing's finest NASCAR Grand National drivers compete on this challenging racetrack. The Light Cola 500 is brought to you by Old Milwaukee Beer and Old Milwaukee Light, two of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this. By the makers of Skoal and Copenhagen, for real tobacco pleasure without lighting up. A pinch is all it takes. And by Fram Filters and Autolite Spark Plugs.
This is the Long Pond at Long Pond, Pennsylvania. For generations, it's been the home of hikers and fishermen and folks that like the great outdoors. A few years ago, some of that changed for a few folks who like stock car racing when men like Buddy Baker brought the Winston Cup Grand National cars to the Pocono International Raceway just a stone's throw away and gave us some of the greatest auto racing action that we've ever seen. Baker, they're about to do it up there again today. What do you think? We could probably get in at least another 5 or 10 minutes before they get serious up there. Yeah?
Buddy, come on, let's go. We got to get started. We got about an hour to go. We're going to start the race.
Joe Mattioli Jr., General Manager, Pocono International Raceway.
You guys fooling around fishing. We've got to go.
Sometimes you just can't win for showing.
That's true.
Maybe we'll hear from him later. One more cast, huh, Baker?
Some people have all the luck.
Where's Charlie Harville when we need him?
Some people get to go fishing, and some people are at the racetrack waiting for the race to begin. You fellows had better hurry on over here because we're about ready to start. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Charlie Harville, and I'll be talking to you from Pit Road today, keeping you up with the developments there. Among the developments, Bobby Allison, who's starting in the 12th starting position today, an unaccustomed spot for him. He's also very much in the race for the Winston Cup Points Championship. But nobody's ever won a Grand National race at Pocono from as far as 12th position back. However, before the Vanscoy Diamond Mines 500 last month, nobody had ever won a race from as far as 7th starting position back. Bobby Allison took that one from that spot. Yes, he is a contender for the Winston Cup Grand National Championship, a driving event which he has never in his lengthy career had the pleasure of winning. He's a couple of 100 points ahead of his nearest challenger, who is Darrell Waltrip. There are other challengers lined up here close to him. Terry Labonte, who is very much in the hunt for the championship. And Darrell Waltrip in the Pepsi Challenger, who is just a couple of 100 points behind Allison at this stage. Sitting on the pole, he's on the pole position for the second time this season, Tim Richmond in number 27. An unaccustomed starting spot for him at this racetrack, but he is certainly one of the men to be watched. And next to him, Harry Gant. The number 2 starting position is his highest starting spot of the season. So Harry has an opportunity to do some racing early in front of the pack. It'll be a great race. It's the fastest average speed for the field ever recorded here at Pocono. We'll be back with the start of the race right after this.
It's every basketball fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics presents the greatest basketball games ever played. Regular season, tournament, NIT, even the Final Four. Incredible stars, amazing action. Look for college basketball's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529. The catalog's free. College basketball's greatest games. Go get them now. It's every football fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics has gathered the greatest games in college football, regular season and bowl games alike, and assembled them in this great home video collection. Your favorite team is bound to be in the series. It's been a century in the making. Look for college football's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free, so act now.
the pole, Tim Richmond out of Ashland, Ohio. The old Milwaukee Pontiac seeking his third Grand National win, first on a super speedway if he can pull it off. On the outside of row one, it is the Bandit, the Skull Bandit, Harry Gant driving a Buick. In post position number 3, inside of row 2, two-time defending Winston Cup champion, Darrell Waltrip. Starting 4th is the 1980 winner of the Light-Cola 500 from Bessemer, Alabama, Neil Bonnet in the Warner Hodgson Chevrolet. In the 5th starting position from Corpus Christi, Texas, Terry Labonte in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Starting 6th, Ricky Rudd, the Piedmont Airlines Chevy. Ricky Rudd out of Chesapeake, Virginia. In the 7th starting position from Elby, North Carolina, it's Benny Parsons, former Grand National champion. He too in a Chevrolet. Then comes the Ford Thunderbird of the current number 3 man in the NASCAR point standings, Bill Elliott of Dawsonville, Georgia. In the 9th position, the all-time champion, Richard Petty, twice a winner of this event. Starting 10th, another Ford Thunderbird driver. In the Wrangler car, it's Dale Earnhardt, fresh from a victory in Nashville, Tennessee. And here is the rest of the starting grid, 40 strong, for the 10th annual Light-Cola 500 on this 2.5-mile track. Buddy?
This is the fastest field ever at Pocono for a NASCAR stock car race. 40 cars averaged 145,695 miles per hour.
Almost a mile faster than was done 2 years ago. So we have 40 competitors ready to go for it. It looks like the most competitive field ever. This is more than just a race, it's a happening. Annually, the first family of stock car racing, the France family, is honored by the first family of Pennsylvania racing, the Mattiolis. This year, our Charlie Harville was there.
With me are Doctors Rose and Joe Mattioli of the Speedway. Some years ago, Pocono International Raceway instituted the presentation of the Bill France Award of Excellence. It's given each year to a person who has been vital in the development and furtherance of NASCAR racing.
It's my pleasure to present you and STP Corporation with the Bill France Award of Excellence from the Pocono Speedway. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Thanks a lot, Jim. I'm just looking here at the list. Bill France, Winston, Purolator, Union Oil, the Petties, G.H. Long, and STP. I think that's a awfully nice group of people and companies to be associated with.
STP's Leo Leclerc accepting the award on behalf of Ralph Salvino, who spent over 20 years with motorsports, a great friend of the game. We're just about set for the start of this Winston Cup 500-mile race. Back to the start after this.
Here's the most unique home video available for the sports fan and a collector's item for the avid golf fan. Great players, great shots, unbelievable action. It's chock full of the most amazing shots ever, from the ridiculous to the sublime. You have to have this video. Get golf's greatest hits at Herman's World of Sports and other leading retailers, or call 800-473-7529. Golf's greatest hits, go get it now. Here's the sports video collection that you've been waiting for. All American Sports Classics. These are the greatest sporting events of the century, now included in collectible home videos. The greatest players, the greatest plays, the greatest games. Look for All America Sports Classics at Camelot and other leading retailers. Or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free. Go get them now.
At the 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway, I'm Ken Squire, and along with me is a 19-time Grand National winner, Buddy Baker. Nice to have you with us. Want to make a pick as they come down for the start?
I sure do, Ken. I picked Tim Richmond. I've been in the broadcast booth twice, and he's won twice, so it's going to be tough today.
Let's see what he'll do as we come down for a start. He's never won at a super speedway. Green flag is out, and as they charge for turn number 1, they spread them 4 wide. This first turn, every turn is different here, buddy.
It certainly is. They're going into the number 1 corner, which is the highest bank corner on the racetrack, and probably the most tricky. You have to get way down low and make a run for the backstretch.
16-degree turn, and out in front goes Tim Richmond. In that second spot is the Bandit, Harry Gant, as they go to turn number 2, which is totally different.
Totally different. It goes across the tunnel on the backstretch into a very flat corner, and the car gets real loose and washes out towards the wall.
8-degree turn here, and here's Waltrip coming to the inside to try and make a move, and Gant shuts him down. Now they move for the final turn, the big third turn, which is just like an old fairgrounds flat one, buddy.
Absolutely. You go down a short chute and go in, and the whole car tries to go towards the wall as you get to the center of the corner, and then down for the long straightaway down the front stretch.
The man who won it 1 year ago is still trapped in traffic. Here you see Bobby Allison still back there in 12th position, car number 22. Down the main straightaway, in front, Tim Richmond leads the pack. See Richard Petty beginning to work to the inside, buddy.
Yes, he's starting to make his move. Richard Petty always puts on a great drive right at the first of the race here.
So in front is Richmond. He's won twice at Riverside, California on the 9-turn road course, but he has never won on a super speedway. The 1980 Indianapolis Rookie of the Year. Tim Richmond leading. There you see the battle for 4th. It is Neil Bonnet, 75, the maroon and white car, and right behind him comes Terry Labonte. Then back in the 6th spot is Petty. Richard Petty running at 6. Meanwhile, for the lead, for 2nd place, going down the inside, Waltrip beginning to make some moves on Harry Gant.
Yes, he tried to pass on the inside, and Harry Gant closed the door on him, but he'll be back.
You bet he will. Fighting for the national championship with Bobby Allison another year. To the inside, it's Terry Labonte moving underneath Neil Bonnet in a fight for 4th. Petty right behind them as they come back down the main straightaway. Tim Richmond leading by about 2 car lengths. And there you see the street fight as they go into turn number 1.
Harry Gant just drafted by Tim Richmond going into number 1 corner.
Gant puts the Travis Carter Buick out in front, but here comes the Pontiac back on the inside. It's wheel to wheel out of turn number 1, and Tim Richmond goes back into first. No, here comes Gant on the outside. The green and white car pulling up. Meanwhile, further back, it's still a dogfight, and it is Terry Labonte moving up into 5th. Here comes Darrell Waltrip inside of the track, going by 2 automobiles into the lead. Waltrip taking the lead for the first time today.
And Richard Petty is now on the move on the inside on Gant.
Richard Petty back in 4th. The leader now is Waltrip. Here comes Petty. Boy, that Petty car just handles so nicely on the bottom of the track.
Well, he always makes a great run at the first of the race to get himself in position for later, because it breaks up in the packs later on.
Meanwhile, it is Labonte dropping way down to the inside as he takes a shot to come up through from the 5th spot. 3 cars wide. Labonte on the inside, Petty in the middle, and Gant on the outside, deployed for 3rd. Into the first turn. Waltrip first, Richmond second. Darrell Waltrip, winner of 4 Grand National races this year, currently number 2 in the standings to Bobby Allison, trying to put it all back together for the Junior Johnson team.
Terry Labonte's now moved up, and he's making a run. He really feels good about his race car for today's effort.
Richmond begins to pull back up on Darrell Waltrip for the lead. Pocono International Raceway. It's where the action is today. Rush hour on Pennsylvania I-80 is transferred onto this 2.5-mile triangular track. Waltrip staying in front. Richmond in 2nd. Terry Labonte, number 44, is 3rd. And directly behind him comes Richard Petty in 4th, Neil Bonnet in 5th, Gant all the way back to 6th. What happened to him?
Well, he just got out of the draft just for a second, but that happens at Pocono. You have to stay in that position, and they'll move around on the straightaway to keep a guy from getting the inside.
Freight training back into the first turn. The new leader is Waltrip. Richmond, as we mentioned earlier, has never won on a super speedway, and he drove his first super speedway right here at Pocono, Pennsylvania, back in 1980. He's won twice on the road course of Riverside, California. There you see him in a tight tuck right up against the back end of Waltrip's car as they come into turn number 2.
His car is working extra good. When he starts through the corners, you can see it take a real low line through there, and that's the key at Pocono.
It appears that Waltrip in the yellow car and the red car of Richmond have drawn away a bit, but actually the third place car is still in that lead draft, buddy.
It is that, and Terry Labonte told me before the race, this car accelerates as good as any car that he's ever driven on a major speedway.
Terry Labonte maintaining the third position. Still looking for his second Grand National win, a former winner at Darlington.
Yeah, you can see he's closed the interval up now. He's right on the back bumper of Tim Richmond.
Petty maintaining fourth, still another lap. Right behind him comes Neil Bonnet, then it is Gant, and moving up is Bobby Allison into the 7th position. Back with the leaders. It's Waltrip in front. Man who's won almost $3 million in the Grand National Circuit. And right behind him, sneaking to peak at first again, is Tim Richmond. Richmond had a terrible start to the 1983 season, but in the last few outings, well, he's had 2 third places and 1 DNF. That a very important one in the race that you won, buddy, at the Firecracker 400 at Daytona.
Right, he had some problems there, but the race team is solid, and someday they're going to get it together.
Third place, inching along, back into the picture comes Terry Labonte. The Billy Hagan car, number 44, is right there. 40 cars starting today's event. This long straightaway gives everybody a chance to gather it up and run on the slipstream. Still, Waltrip deployed in first.
I see Jeff Bodine's car beginning to slow on the inside.
Well, that's too bad for the Cliff Stewart crew. Number 88, the Gatorade car, may be in trouble again today for Jeff Bodine. Car number 60 has spun. Car number 60 has dropped to the inside, and that's Bob Riley out of Norwalk, Connecticut, and he's going to bring out the first caution of the afternoon.
Ken, he must have lost some fluid on the racetrack.
We'll be back with more in a moment.
It's every basketball fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics presents the greatest basketball games ever played. Regular season, tournament, NIT, even the Final Four. Incredible stars, amazing action. Look for college basketball's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529. The catalog's free. College basketball's greatest games. Go get them now. It's every football fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics has gathered the greatest games in college football, regular season and bowl games alike, and assembled them in this great home video collection. Your favorite team is bound to be in the series. It's been a century in the making. Look for college football's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free, so act now.
Ready for resumption this 500-mile NASCAR Grand National race in Pocono, Pennsylvania, after a spin by Bob Riley.
Yes, Bob Riley must have blown an engine because the caution come out as soon as he spun off the racetrack. That usually means that he's dropped oil on the racing surface.
That was up in turn 3. The green is on once again. Going into the first turn, Neil Bonnet is in first. Ricky Rudd is in second. Bobby Allison third. Richard Petty is in fourth. Ruttman is fifth. Dave Marcus is up to sixth. Bill Elliott in a Ford is back in seventh. Neil Bonnet leading the way. Neil Bonnet, a former winner on this track, buddy.
Yes, he runs real well here. His car looks like it's pushing a little bit to me coming out of the corners. Ricky Rudd's going to make a move in just a few seconds.
The National Engineering Chevrolet on the point now, breaking out of the back here, trying to move out. Is car number 27. He gave up the lead, made a quick pit stop,
And so he's well back, Tim Richmond, in the maroon and gold car, and back there with him is Darrell Waltrip. Field coming down out of turn number 2. Into that third turn with Neil Bonnet out in front. Ricky Rudd sticks right there in second. Further back, here's Harry Gant moving under Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah. Look at Tim Richmond moving too. He's going everywhere Gant goes. He's really on the move.
Taking a little further back in the pack as they fight their way up through into the top 10. Meanwhile, for the lead, take a look at Bobby Allison. Remember, he started 12th. No one has ever started further back than 8th and won this race. He is now up to 3rd. Field in the back straightaway with Richard Petty going to the 4th spot. Bonnet getting a little breathing room for just a moment, Buddy Baker.
I noticed that. Ricky Rudd seemed to pull up just a little bit, but his car's running really well down the straightaway. He pulled right back into the back of Neil Bonnet's car.
Richard Petty in 4th, and his son Kyle Petty still in the lead lap. Leslie Calloway is with Patty Petty in the Driver's Wives Lounge. Let's go there now.
Hi, I'm Leslie Calloway, and I'm in Pocono Raceway, the new addition, the Driver's Wives Lounge. Patty, you look very comfortable and relaxed. Does the Driver's Wife Lounge help you?
This is probably about the only track that has a place that's set up for the Grand National Racing Wives. And it is relaxing when you can get in and kind of communicate and talk to some of the other wives and get away from the noise and the hustle and bustle. It does give you a place to calm down and relax.
There's not much relaxing out here in the race. Here is Ricky Rudd going down into first place, driving Neil Bonnet back into second.
Ken, I have to take this time to say, I think we're going to see one of the greatest races that's been on the NASCAR circuit in many years. It's really competitive, and the cars are really stacked up right now.
And we have a good potential 15 winners today as the lead continues to fluctuate. Now it's Ricky Rudd in first. Here's Bonnet coming back. Allison just stays, waits in third. Down to the inside, the Warner Hodgson car with Neil Bonnet at the controls is making another thrust at that first position.
Well, what they're doing right now is testing each other's muscle. It really don't matter where they're running right now as long as they know their car can go to the front, and they're just testing each other to see where they're at. One will make a move, the other one will move up. It's more or less like a checker game now. They're trying to find out where they're strongest and how long they can be strong.
Right now, getting crowned is car number 75, Neil Bonnet, as he makes the big jump back into the front. But here comes Allison. Bobby Allison down the inside, and the Alabama gang goes 1-2 with Allison into first, Bonnet in second. Cancel it. Here comes Petty down the inside, and Richard Petty takes second place.
Well, I'm going to tell you, when they start in that number 1 corner, the car that gets on the inside is definitely going to come out the other side in front because you can't make time on the outside going into 1.
In that third position is Neil Bonnet, and up to the 4th spot now moves Bill Elliott in car number 9. Elliott has come to 4th as they continue to squeeze them and shake those positions around.
Ken, that might be the sleeper in the race. Bill Elliott is really running well, and he seems to come off the corner as well as any General Motors car out there. And him driving a Ford, they said he couldn't keep up, but he's certainly doing it.
Further back that time, you saw Darrell Waltrip still getting through traffic, moving past the Morgan Shepherd car.
He's not doing bad down the straightaway. That's he and Petty making a move as they go down into number 1.
Richard Petty is going for first. Has it. Richard Petty going out in front, winner of 197 Grand National races. Whoa, trouble up in turn number 4.
My God.
1, 2, 3 automobiles have crashed, one severely. It looks like car number 19 is totally torn up. Bobby Gerhart went head-on into the wall at over 180 miles an hour, and then he spun and took the back end of the car completely off, Buddy.
Oh, that's a bad-looking wreck. I tell you, that's as bad as I've watched all year long.
In replay, you see his car slithering down to the inside. Jimmy Means' car was in it. You see his car coming to a halt. And also in it is Glenn Jarrett's car, resting up at the top of the picture there. 3 cars in bad trouble. Leaders are coming on to pit road. But a horrible crash. There you see the Jimmy Means number 52 for Bobby Gerhart, a young Pennsylvania driver, 25 years old, who cut his teeth on tracks like Williams Grove and Lincoln and Hagerstown. We're going to be back with more from the Pocono Raceway and the Light Cola 500 in a moment.
Here's the most unique home video available for the sports fan and a collector's item for the avid golf fan. Great players, great shots, unbelievable action. It's chock full of the most amazing shots ever, from the ridiculous to the sublime. You have to have this video. Get golf's greatest hits at Herman's World of Sports and other leading retailers, or call 800-473-7529. Golf's greatest hits. Go get it now. Here's the sports video collection that you've been waiting for. All American Sports Classics. These are the greatest sporting events of the century. Now included in collectible home videos. The greatest players, the greatest plays, the greatest games. Look for All America Sports Classics at Camelot and other leading retailers. Or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free. Go get them now.
A savage crash has torn Henley Gray's car number 19 almost in two. There you see part of the back end of the car was driven by Bobby Gerhardt. Let's get a report on what happened.
Here with Jimmy Means, the driver of car number 52. Jimmy, what happened?
Well, it looked like the 19 car spun across the racetrack, hit the wall, and, hit a pretty hard leg and came back across the racetrack. And the 65 was directly behind him, didn't really have anywhere to go, and he hit him in the side. And I was far enough behind that I could see where to go, and I done picked my line to go high. And I had them clear, so they're both coming across the racetrack. And about, I had clear sailing, and Jocko Machachimo, whoever he is, hit me in the hind end and slammed me right in the wall. It's just one of those deals where, I guess I didn't have a lot enough time to throw up my arm to warn him, but, it's something that should have been avoided.
That's Jimmy Means, driver of car number 52. Back to you, Ken.
Indeed, Harry, we're back under green. Harry Gant, car number 33, is now in front after that caution period. In second is Bobby Allison. Back to third comes Tim Richmond, the man on the pole. In fourth spot is Darrell Waltrip. Fifth is Richard Petty. Sixth is the number 3 car of Ricky Rudd. And in seventh is Neil Bonnet. There you see Richard Petty in fifth. Right behind him, Ricky Rudd, holding right on to him. And there goes Neil Bonnet in that seventh position. A lot of strength being shown by the white and red number 3, Ricky Rudd. In front, Gant, and he has builds a bit of a lead there for a moment, Buddy Baker.
Yes, that's the first time we saw a little muscle in this race, but I don't believe he's going to be able to hold it. These cars can draft so well down the front straightaway. He'll pull her right back up with it.
Extremely competitive tracks here at Pocono, Pennsylvania, where Bobby Allison goes after Harry Gant in first, and there you see that third-place car, Tim Richmond. Their crew extremely optimistic today that this was going to be their race, but they really have to cut through the very best if they have any intention of winning this one.
Well, there comes Darrell Waltrip making a move on the inside, going down into one. If he gets up even, he'll be able to make the pass on Tim Richmond.
He's there. Darrell Waltrip is into third place, easily going into turn number 1. Richmond falls back to fourth. There you see them. Waltrip in third, number 11, and Richmond number 27 in fourth.
They've taken Bobby Gerhardt to the hospital in Wilkes-Barre with a light concussion.
Richard Petty is in the 5th spot. Ricky Rudd is in 6th. Gerhardt, a very lucky race driver after that savage crash. Leader, Gant. Now, feeling the pressure of Bobby Allison, the current number 1 driver on the Winston Cup Tour, is there knocking at the door. Meanwhile, here's Neil Bonnet. Neil Bonnet, at number 75, is testing the 6th-place man. Allison challenging, going through for the lead. Bobby Allison goes out in front.
Yeah, well, Bobby is, I tell you, at this racetrack, he's something to watch. He sits back, and all of a sudden, there he is in the lead. And he just got a lot of muscle here. He understands the racetrack, and he does a great job.
That Miller Highlight Quaker State car, they've won 3 in a row in this track, trying for 4 today. Allison is in front, Gant back to second as they continue to swap positions around out here, just exactly like a checkerboard game.
Just exactly, and Darrell Waltrip's car, I've never saw one hang as low in the corner as he has, and I tell you, he's going to be a factor. He's running super good.
Bill Elliott's on the move. Elliott in the number 9 car is picking up Ricky Rudd, who's already been passed by Neil Bonnet. That puts that car of Ricky Rudd back into the 8th position.
I see Darrell Waltrip's also moved by Tim Richmond now. He's on the move.
Here's Waltrip right there in 3rd place. It's been a little while since he's won on the Winston Cup Tour this year. Last win was at Bristol, Tennessee. Here he is back on a super speedway, a track upon which he has won, and he really looks like he's set up to do some business this afternoon.
I guarantee you, he's flying, and the front 4 cars right now, they look even Steven. It's just who makes the right move at the right time, and Allison seems to pull down and kind of block him off from making an inside move on him.
How much brake do you use going into turn 1 here?
Well, you get on the brakes pretty hard. You got to get down to the low part of the racetrack. You actually run what they call the apron going in the corner, and you try to hold it there to keep the car loose coming off.
Gant makes a move on the inside. The green and white Skull Bandit pulls up. Harry Gant going down low, scooping along through, trying to find a place to run for the lead.
You'll never see racing any better than you're seeing right now. This is phenomenal.
Harry Gant goes in front. Bobby Allison back to second. There's Waltrip waiting, looking, working. Now he goes to the inside.
What a move. I'm telling you the truth. These guys are running like it's the last lap.
Back there in 4th, it is Tim Richmond, and right behind him in 5th is Richard Petty. That 6th spot is Neil Bonnet. Exciting racing, the most competitive automobile racing in the world. This day, it's at the Pocono International Raceway before a crowd estimated at some 85,000. To the inside, Harry Gant moves down. Will he make his move?
Nobody seems to be happy in second place in this race. They want to be leading all the time.
Gant took the lead. Allison drives right under him and goes back into 1st place. How about that?
It takes a great handling car to get past going in the corner and then pass back on the inside.
Bobby Allison has won 3 straight races here at Pocono. How come he has such good luck here?
Well, I think it's just a combination of a lot of things, and I think it's enhanced by the Dygaard racing team. The guys have put together a car that runs good. Robert Yates' engine runs good, and Gary Nelson's chassis works good all the way around the place. And it's a real compromise here, so when you can say a guy's chassis works good all the way around here, I think he's done a good job.
And a lot of them work so well in this racetrack. This track is known for its lead changes. They average about 40 lead changes a race. This one looks like it could break all records at the present time. Allison's in front, but there are a lot of people shadowing him. Right now, Harry Gant is lying there in 2nd. Waltrip is in 3rd. Tim Richmond is in 4th.
The drafting on this racetrack, Ken, is just unbelievable. You see down the front straightaway, it looks like a giant snake with offspring following it when it comes down the front straightaway. It's something to watch.
They try to snap each other off, too, on these drafts. They try to decide these races between as few cars as possible. And I'm sure we're going to see that tactic before the afternoon is over. Because right now, we have some 17 cars running in the lead lap. And still, Allison has the point. And it looks like he has a lot of horses to play with. And as he mentioned, a great handling car. There you see the front 4, and that's the interval. There's no interval between them. Meanwhile, Neil Bonnet lying back there in the 5th position. Right behind him is Bill Elliott, the sleeper, the dark horse, the kid that's never won a Grand National race with his Ford Thunderbird, still moving up to the competition. Here you see Waltrip. He sneaks a peek on the inside of the leader, Bobby Allison and Harry Gant, and then pulls back in as he sees a lap car, and he wants to play it a little conservative for just a moment.
Well, if you notice, when the lead cars are coming up behind the slower traffic, they don't just stay in their line. They get in behind the slower traffic and draft off it down the straightaway.
There's that 4th place car, Richard Petty. And now Neil Bonnet in 5th. Meanwhile, up in front, Allison. Allison moved down to the inside. It looked like Gant might try to move through. No place.
No time to rest. These guys are playing for keeps, so they have to be aware of what's around them.
Greg Sachs in trouble. Well-known modified driver taking a crack at Grand National Racing here at Pocono International Raceway.
Look at Walter work through the flat corner. He moves up some 8 or 9 car lengths going into the flat corner part of the racetrack.
Off turn number 3, that big flat turn, bank just 6 degrees. There's so much here, there's so much compromise in how you set a car up for this racetrack as opposed to others.
Yeah, some of the drivers set up for the flat corners and some set up for the high bank corner going into one. So every man thinks he knows where he wants to run the fastest at. But for me, if I can come off through the third corner real fast and get a good run down the front straightaway, it seemed to always work the best for me.
Bobby Allison working some traffic here. Drops right back to the inside as he tries to split away from the rest of the field and pick up a bit of an advantage, but Gant won't let him loose. Harry Gant, winner of 3 Grand National races, right up there in the Winston Cup standings this year. Hangs on to Allison, as does Waltrip, back there in 3rd.
Yeah, they're getting a little breathing room, the first 3 cars now. They're sticking together, and they're not passing a lot, so they're beginning to make a gap between them and the cars behind them.
Which is Bonnet in 5th, Elliott maintaining that 6th position. Leaders coming by another time. Allison still first. Gant holding on to 2nd. You have to be very careful when you're in a tight draft like that you don't over... Oh, we've got Greg Sachs, who a moment ago was on pit road, came out, went down in the corner, and he's lost his car.
That was a hard lick, Ken. It don't look good, but these cars are built with a lot of safety in them.
We'll be back with more from Pocono in a moment.
Here's the most unique home video available for the sports fan, and a collector's item for the avid golf fan. Great players, great shots, unbelievable action. It's chock full of the most amazing shots ever, from the ridiculous to the sublime. You have to have this video. Get golf's greatest hits at Herman's World of Sports and other leading retailers, or call 800-473-7529. Golf's greatest hits, go get it now. Here's the sports video collection that you've been waiting for. All American Sports Classics. These are the greatest sporting events of the century. Now included in collectible home videos. The greatest players, the greatest plays, the greatest games. Look for All America Sports Classics at Camelot and other leading retailers. Or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free. Go get them now.
Greg Sachs, winner of 28 out of 36 races in 1982, including the Race of Champions here at Pocono, has crashed, brought out a caution. He is all right, and we're ready for resumption of this Light Cola 500. With Bobby Allison first, Neil Bonnet second, Ricky Rudd third, Joe Ruttman fourth, and running in fifth, Morgan Shepherd. Well back in the 11th spot, it is Darrell Waltrip, and in 12th is car number 27, Tim Richmond. Here we are back into turn number 1 as they funnel them from 7 wide down to about 2 or 3 in that very tricky first turn.
I'll tell you what, I just don't see how they get... I've run a lot of races here, and I always wonder how we all make it in the number 1 corner, because you're 4 deep halfway down the straightaway, but you always manage somehow.
And when you sit up here watching them, you still wonder. Now here comes number 27. On the inside, Richmond making a move, and there's Waltrip. Waltrip flying around car number 47, Ron Bouchard. Up in front, Allison first, Bonnet second. So it is the teacher first and the pupil second from the old days in Alabama here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Richard Petty scoots down to the inside as he tries to pick up a spot. And now you see Richmond working very hard to get around Ron Bouchard and finding no room. Main straightaway. Allison first. Kenny Wynn 4 in a row here at Pocono. That includes the other race they run earlier in the summer, as well as this event held each July. leader, Bobby Allison. Second place, Neil Bonnet. This is about the longest anyone has secured a position in the race today, buddy.
It really is. It's a very hard race to even call because they're changing leads so much and they're running 4 deep across the front straightaway, and one car looks dominant, and all of a sudden he's out of the picture. It's really tough. Look back here right now. You got cars going into a flat corner side by side. What racing? It's great.
That's Neil Bonnet, the Warner Hodgson team, with that Chevrolet holding on to car number 22, staying right up in front, the Buick of Bobby Allison. The question is the story on Tim Richmond, who's been running strong all day. Let's go to Charlie Harville in his pits.
In the pits with crew chief Tim Brewer of the number 27 car, the Tim Richmond car. Tim, what's your strategy?
Well, we ain't got much strategy left right now, Charlie. You know, that's the best stuff we've got. I told Richmond, you know, due to the clouds, you know, you need to get to the front as fast as you can and do whatever you got to do.
Do you think you can go the rest of the way with the fuel you have?
Charlie, it's going to be real close. I think Bobby, he's probably the only car on the track with enough fuel on board probably to finish the race. It's going to be close for the rest of us.
That's Tim Brewer, crew chief of car number 27, the Tim Richmond car. Back to you, Ken.
Richmond moving around Richard Petty for 7th place. Neil Bonnet has fallen from 2nd back to 5th position. Right now, Richmond has pulled into 7th, put Petty back to 8th. The clouds that were being discussed by Tim Brewer are really brewing out in the back straightaway area. It could be rain. There's Petty back around Richmond again.
Yeah, well, what happened there was Richmond took a low line through that corner, and the car probably pushed a little bit, and Petty got a better start off the corner.
Bobby Allison is in front. Ricky Rudd has come into 2nd place. Gann is 3rd, Rutland 4th, Bonnet 5th, Waltrip 6th. Petty is fighting it out with Richmond for the 7th spot. Richmond drag racing onto the inside against Petty as they go into turn number 1, and Tim Richmond is back into 7th place another time.
Boy, that car is flying, Ken. I tell you, he just makes his move. He seems to be the fastest car on the racetrack.
Darrell Waltrip is in the 6th position. The yellow and white, red numeral number 11 right in front of Tim Richmond. Currently in 7th, and there you see the Petty car just behind them. Swapping positions down toward the end of the race as they race the weather as well as each other to the finish of this Light Cola 500 at Pocono International Raceway. Richmond takes a look on the inside of Waltrip. Petty carrying off.
It's going to be tough going in the corner because Darrell Waltrip's car is working extremely well. He's running well enough to win, too. It's going to be a shootout at the end.
Waltrip could easily win this race for number 5 of the 1983 season. Back to the inside. Richmond attacking, trying to move through. Waltrip cutting him off a bit there. As they come down the main straightaway in that 2nd spot, you saw Ricky Rudd just angle down for a moment. Then he decided to wait it out.
Again, that number 3 car is strong down the straightaway, but he's having problems getting out of the corner. They close up on him after he comes out of each corner.
Right behind Richmond comes Neil Bonnet, who's finding some strength. Here goes Waltrip up underneath number 98, Rutland.
Tim Richmond taking advantage. No, he can't quite stick in there.
Bonnet has fallen back again. His car just is not working, and as he fell back, that is the Rutland car now running in 4th, and as Bonnet continues to proceed backwards here at this point, moving up through comes Richmond and Waltrip.
Well, I'd like to say something about Neil Bonnet's car. It's running extremely well down the straightaways, but he's having a handling problem coming out of the corner.
Still Allison 1st, still Rudd 2nd, and Gant 3rd. Waltrip has moved to 4th. And there's a battle for 5th. Rutland is being challenged by Tim Richmond. It is Rutland losing a spot to Tim Richmond, who takes over in 5th, and he drags along with him number 75, Neil Bonnet, into 6th. Rutland falls to 7th. Well, you can't find races much better than this, Buddy Baker. Don't you wish you were out there?
I really do. This is a great race, and I tell you, I can't pick a winner. I said before the race started that I'd pick Tim Richmond, but there's 5 cars out there that anybody could win.
And right now it is Ricky Rudd going into 1st place. Ricky Rudd, the Piedmont Airlines car, goes to 1st, but down the inside, here comes Harry Gant.
Harry Gant and Bobby Allison following him right into the corner, and he should get the position coming through there because the inside, you just got the angle on the corner.
Meanwhile, there lies number 11, Waltrip. He is in 4th, and moving to 5th is Tim Richmond. We have 9 cars in a bundle for the 1st position as we get down toward the finish.
Well, Tim Richmond and Darrell Waltrip are moving up on the inside now. They could almost go to the lead now.
Waltrip way down low is going to go to second place, and here comes Richmond into third at turn 1. Magnificent drive by Tim Richmond into third and Waltrip into second place.
I'm going to reclaim him. He really looks good. Tim Richmond's doing a heck of a job, and that race car is flying.
Bobby Allison doing a magnificent job all day after starting 12th. He's fallen back into the 5th position. Gant is losing first. It is Darrell Waltrip now in front.
No question about it. The cars are starting to move now, and it's going to determine who the winner is by who gets in the front pack now.
I'm sure that this crowd of some 85,000, this has to be one of the best races they've ever surveyed. Here comes Richmond on the inside. Tim Richmond pulling through. Richmond going for first. He has Waltrip pinned high. And the car works beautifully. Tim Richmond has driven his way back into the lead. Is Waltrip playing a waiting game? Savvy driver, twice the national champion. Here comes Gant beneath him. Here comes Bobby Allison back into it. Gant in the green and white car. He comes up alongside Darrell Waltrip for second place. And as they race side by side, it could be an opportunity for Richmond to pull away.
The dress rehearsal's over. This is showtime now.
And all the stars begin to show their colors. The green and white number 33 of Gant on the inside. Waltrip on the outside in third. There you see Bobby Allison in fourth. Edging along, trying to move Waltrip back a spot as they continue their own personal battle for the national championship. And Neil Bonnet is making a tremendous run. He makes it 3 wide down the main straightaway. Bonnet on the inside. Back for the exciting finish of this 500-mile race in a moment.
It's every basketball fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics presents the greatest basketball games ever played. Regular season, tournament, NIT, even the Final Four. Incredible stars, amazing action. Look for college basketball's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529. The catalog's free. College basketball's greatest games. Go get them now. It's every football fan's dream. All-American Sports Classics has gathered the greatest games in college football, regular season and bowl games alike, and assembled them in this great home video collection. Your favorite team is bound to be in the series. It's been a century in the making. Look for college football's greatest games at leading retailers or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free, so act now.
Who's set on the pole in the Miller High Life Time Trials here at the Pocono International Raceway out in front. But the story is the battle for third place. Bobby Allison fighting off Neil Bonnet and Harry Gant. Second place at the moment is car number 11, Darrell Waltrip. He's about 10 car lengths back. But the real battle, Buddy Baker, is right there. Bobby Allison holding on to third. Right behind him, Neil Bonnet, and then comes Gant.
3 great race drivers, and I tell you, it's just whoever has the best handling car now and who can make the right move at the right time.
The leader is about 6 seconds in front of this trio, and midway back, splitting them up, is car number 11, the Darrell Waltrip machine, the Junior Johnson prepared car. The story is all here. They brought back some of the old crew. Pete Peterson has come back to the team, and along with him came 2 other of the old members, Eddie Tharp and Barry Dodson, and it has really made a difference in how this car has performed.
Well, definitely. A great crew, a race car is a race car. A great crew makes up the thing that makes up what is a super team, and these guys are all there, and it had to come together sooner or later, and it looks like the day might be it.
Here he is putting some lap traffic Tim Richmond, who has never won on a super speedway, who got his first taste of super speedway racing because Joe Mattioli Jr. invited him to this track 2 laps to go back in 1980 when he was an Indianapolis car driver to take a look at stock cars. He became enamored with them, and this could be the day. He's won twice on the road course, as we mentioned earlier, at Riverside, California, but he's never tasted victory on a super speedway. And this track of compromises with different corners, different bankings, different sizes, different apexes is one of the trickiest. He's driving it well. There's your second place car, Darrell Waltrip, and you can see him fighting his way down through as he maintains second position as his drive continues toward the national title for a 3rd straight year. And again this year, he's trailing Bobby Allison at this juncture of the season. It's still Tim Richmond's race to win with about a lap and a third to go into the main straightaway. 28-year-old Tim Richmond of Ashland, Ohio.
White flag. You know this kid's going to be the happiest boy on the block now because he has wanted to win on a round track, and you know everybody said he won on the road course and it was kind of expected, but right now he's showing everybody he's made of championship stuff, and he just had a great day.
Well, he's had all kinds of experience in race cars. He's been in the modifieds. He drove in Formula V. He moved into the Indianapolis ranks, was Rookie of the Year in Indianapolis. And now here he is trying to beat this man, number 11, Darrell Waltrip, maintaining that second position. Down for the finish. Here comes car number 27, Tim Richmond, looking for that first one. Tim Brewer, the crew chief, and all of them very excited down on pit road directly across from us. Headed for that very flat last corner goes Tim Richmond.
A day to remember for this boy. I guarantee you he can hear everything in that car vibrating right now.
As he comes down, he said when he took it off the truck, this is going to be my weekend, and it is his hour. Tim Richmond wins the Light Cola 500 at Pocono International Raceway. Second is Waltrip, and third will be Bobby Allison across the line with Neil Bonnet in 4th, and Harry Gant back in the 5th position. Richmond is the story of this 500-mile contest, and the real story is that crew who put it all together for him.
Amen. So I'm really happy for everybody. You know, everybody was expecting great things from a super team, and it started so bad. Now they're really moving along, and with the win, you know, it's kind of the first win kind of makes things going, and they'll be like a big gear now. They'll win some races before the end of the season.
Bobby Allison pulling up to congratulate Tim Richmond on his victory here today at Pocono International Raceway. And now the final standings. Tim Richmond becomes the 10th different winner of 1983. Harry Gant finished in the 5th position. In 6th was Bill Elliott, 7th Ricky Rudd, Dave Marcus was 8th, Joe Ruttman 9th, and Petty 10th. We'll be back to meet the winner in a moment.
Here's the most unique home video available for the sports fan, and a collector's item for the avid golf fan. Great players, great shots, unbelievable action. It's chock full of the most amazing shots ever, from the ridiculous to the sublime. You have to have this video. Get golf's greatest hits at Herman's World of Sports and other leading retailers, or call 800-473-7529. Golf's greatest hits, go get it now. Here's the sports video collection that you've been waiting for. All American Sports Classics. These are the greatest sporting events of the century. Now included in collectible home videos. The greatest players, the greatest plays, the greatest games. Look for All America Sports Classics at Camelot and other leading retailers. Or call 800-473-7529 and order them by mail. The catalog is free. Go get them now.
waiting for victory lane. On the schedule of events here next at Pocono, the Mazda pace car will be chased by the bobtail trucks of all things. Let's join Charlie Harville with Tim Richmond.
Tim, a great race for you. Did you have any difficulty during the day?
Yeah, we did. We had a little problem, during the day. The thing went into a push the farther we ran, which is unusual for this track and these type of cars. But everything went well, and Old Milwaukee and Pontiac and Blue Max and Beetle and 76 and Moroso and Russell and Motorcraft, they all did an excellent job, and that's why we use that stuff. It's the best.
It has to be especially gratifying for you to win a Grand National race at this track.
Well, it does, because this is where I first got started, and it does hold a special place. If it wasn't for this guy right down here, Joey Mattioli, he's the brains behind this whole thing. He said back in 1980, he said he'd like to have me come up and run with these cars, and I wanted to, but I didn't think I'd stay, and here we are. We're back at this track, and we won, and I'm just I'm tickled to death.
That's Tim Richmond, the winner. A great victory for Tim, and it concludes an amazing streak, or continues an amazing streak, in which 8 different drivers have won the last 8 Grand National events. From Victory Lane, back to you, Ken and Buddy.
As the sun sets over the beautiful Pocono Mountains, there is a pot of gold and a rainbow out there somewhere for Tim Richmond, who has won his first Grand National race of 1983 in the Light Cola 500. Not only a great victory for him, but for his crew, who really deployed some great strategy in this event, Buddy Baker.
Well, it was a great drive by Tim Richmond and Darrell Waltrip in the top 5 that ran so well all day. It's a shame everybody couldn't be a winner, but Tim Richmond was the class of the show. He moved to the front several times today, and it was a great drive by Tim Richmond.
Tim Richmond not thwarted by 2 rain delays nor 39 other great drivers in this Light Cola 500. For Leslie Calloway and Charlie Harville in the pits and Buddy Baker alongside up top, I'm Ken Squire, and that's the story of the 1983 Light Cola 500 at the Pocono International Raceway.
From Pocono International Raceway, you have just seen the 1983 Light Cola 500 featuring the world's best NASCAR drivers. The Light Cola 500 was brought to you by Old Milwaukee Beer and Old Milwaukee Light, 2 of America's great tasting beers. It doesn't get any better than this. By STP, around the track, around the world. Depend on STP proven performance. And by Fram Filters and Autolite Spark Plug.